Hello there, and welcome. Today we're sinking into the electrifying, heart-pounding, and utterly consuming connection between Michael and Brian from the US version of Queer as Folk, which ran from 2000 to 2005. This isn't just a friendship we're talking about, this is a story of longing, love, and unspoken desire that simmers just beneath the surface. Let's start from the beginning, where it all began. Picture this. Two boys growing up side by side, learning each other's secrets, fears, and dreams. From the outset, Michael was drawn to Brian like a moth to a flame, mesmerized by this boy who radiated confidence and charm. And Brian, well, he could have had anyone, but he always found his way back to Michael. There's something magnetic between them, an energy that pulls them together even when they're worlds apart. You can feel it, can't you? That pull, that tension. It's undeniable. As they grew older, their connection deepened. But here's where things get really interesting. Brian isn't just some cocky guy with a pretty face. With Michael, he's vulnerable, raw, and real. It's as if he's constantly daring Michael to look past the bravado and see the man beneath. And oh, Michael does. He sees him completely. Think about those moments where their hands brush, where Brian's gaze lingers just a fraction of a second longer, where Michael's breath catches as Brian gets too close. There's an electricity that crackles between them, a tension that feels like it could tip over into something more at any moment. And it's that almost that keeps us on the edge, isn't it? That aching feeling of, will they? Could they? There's this one moment where Michael, with all the courage he can muster, lays his heart bare. And Brian, what does he do? He smirks. He deflects. But his eyes betray everything he won't say. He feels it too. The want, the need, the longing. But he's terrified. Terrified of ruining the one pure connection he's ever had. Brian's idea of love is complicated, messy. And yet, with Michael, it's different. It's the one thing he's scared to name because naming it might mean losing it. You can't talk about them without diving into the pain. The pain of watching the person you love most in the world choose everyone else but you. Michael stood by Brian through it all, every hookup, every heartbreak. And yet, even in those moments of rejection, there's always that tiny flicker of hope. Because every once in a while, Brian would let the mask slip. A touch too gentle, a kiss that lingered, or the way he whispered Michael's name like it was something sacred. It's those moments, fleeting as they are, that keep Michael tethered to this impossible love. The romantic tension isn't just about the physical, it's about the emotional closeness. The way they orbit around each other like twin stars caught in each other's gravity. Every relationship Michael had was always shadowed by the ghost of Brian. And every time Brian felt himself slipping, losing control, he'd run back to Michael, the one constant in his life. Let's talk about that moment. That heart-stopping, gut-wrenching moment when Brian truly admits, that he needs Michael. It's like the air is sucked out of the room, because for all the bravado, all the armor, Brian's heart is laid bare if only for a heartbeat. And Michael, he's ready, always ready to catch him. Because that's what love is, isn't it? Not just the grand gestures, but the quiet, steadfast promise that says, I'm here, I've always been here. So why didn't they ever take that final step? It's the question that haunts us all. Maybe it's fear. Fear of ruining what they have. Fear of losing each other. Maybe it's that they already love each other so deeply, so profoundly, that they're terrified of what comes next. But that's the beauty of Michael and Brian. Their story isn't about the happy ending. It's about the journey, the ache, the tension that keeps us coming back, hoping, wishing that maybe, just maybe, one day they'll let themselves fall. In the end, Michael and Brian's connection isn't defined by labels. It's a love story. One that doesn't need to be conventional to be extraordinary. It's in the longing, the glances, the unspoken words that echo louder than anything they've ever said. And that's what makes them timeless. Because sometimes the most powerful love stories aren't the ones with the neat, happy endings. They're the ones that linger, that leave us breathless, hoping for more. Thanks for joining us. Check out our other videos